Hey everybody. Well, working on trying to get the floor pan in this weekend, and pretty close on that, but there's one last area that I think I need to look at before I really get after that. You can see here, this is part of the original inner stiffener, still attached and all rusted out, and then we've also got the, I think it's part of the original floor pan. I had to cut it off. It had been kind of pieced together with some angle back in the day, probably in the late 80s. I think this thing had a somewhat of a restoration. So I'm thinking definitely going to remove that, cut that out, and then maybe cut the B-pillar off, and then fabricate a piece to replace that area. And I don't know, trying to decide if I want to try and weld that in before or after the floor pan's in, because what I'm thinking is I can do the floor pan, the inner, and the outer, and that will set everything there, and then I can come in and weld in, because the B-post goes up against the outboard side of the stiffener, so I think maybe I can weld the two together after the fact, because I've still got to do a repair for the back end of the rocker, and I thought I had one, like a repair piece that came with the car, but when I went up in the attic and looked at what I thought was going to be that, it was actually the rear fender, the lower section repair pieces that came with it. So unexpected bonus, but not really what I need right now. So I think I might just try, I've got some big sheet steel laying around. I think I might try and actually make this piece, because it's a pretty simple curve. I can, this stuff can just be bent or welded to and then formed, the round over formed with a weld bead or something like that. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks.